Guess who's back? Back again. Breaking news here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report as wide receiver Mecole Hardman has re-signed with Kansas City on a one-year deal to return for his sixth season with the Chiefs. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us here on this special breaking news edition of the Chiefs Report powered by Chat Sports. Let's go ahead and begin with the news coming out first thing this morning from Jordan Schultz of Bleacher Report, tweeting out the following. Breaking, the Chiefs are re-signing wide receiver Mecole Hardman per source. Kansas City Super Bowl hero returns. More from Schultz saying the following. Aside from being a receiver, Mecole Hardman is another player the Chiefs could use on kickoffs. With the NFL's new kickoff rule, Kansas City has a few options there, including the former rugby star there. So when I look at Mecole Hardman, former second-round pick, a lot of expectations when he first arrived in Kansas City. Remember, that was when the turmoil was surrounding Tyreek Hill, and the Chiefs drafted him in the second round with the idea, hey, Tyreek Hill might not be around, and we got to have potential other options. So there was this idea in mind that Mecole Hardman would play a significant role in the Chiefs' offense. And if we're going to be honest here, when it comes to Mecole Hardman, he never, ever lived up to expectations, but he hasn't been necessarily a bad player, right? He's still done more good than bad for the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you look at what he can do when it comes to the return game, the veteran presence, how comfortable Patrick Mahomes is with him, all signs pointed to that this was an easy call for the Kansas City Chiefs to bring Mecole Hardman back to this team for 2024. It doesn't even guarantee that he'll make the 53-man roster when it's all said and done. But at least for the time being, a cheap contract that isn't going to cost you much, a one-year deal. This made sense for both parties involved. Coming off that heroic performance in the Super Bowl, we had that game-winning catch. I like this move for the Kansas City Chiefs. What is your one-word reaction to the Chiefs re-signing Mecole Hardman? I'll give you my one-word reaction in a moment, but want to hear from you first. Sound off in the comment section and let us know what your one-word reaction is. My one-word reaction is expected. This was a move that just makes a ton of sense for all parties involved here. Mecole Hardman comes in on a cheap contract. He has a defined role, right? We know that he's going to come in and compete for one of those wide receiver spots on the 53-man roster. Not a guarantee that he ultimately makes it. We know that he can get involved in the special teams unit, and with the expanded kickoff rules that the NFL is going to, of this XFL, UFL kickoff system, there could be a slot for him on that front. And the comfort level, right? Patrick Mahomes likes him. He has enjoyed his time in Kansas City. He is well respected here, and with just being a cheap deal and everything, this makes sense. This was an expectation. This makes a ton of sense for all parties involved. When things happen with your Kansas City Chiefs, we're going to make you a video as quick as we can here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report as we bring you daily news and rumors. Anytime that there's a signing like this or a big trade of sorts, we're going to jump in, react to it here on the channel. We are your Kansas City Chiefs off-season headquarters. Subscribe now for free. Lock us in. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV for the latest happenings on your Kansas City Chiefs all off-season long. We got you covered. Subscribe now for free. Mecole Hardman, a second-round pick by the Kansas City Chiefs just a few years back. We mentioned this is his sixth season in the league now, previously playing for Kansas City, and then he left last offseason to go to the New York Jets. And what's interesting about that, too, something to monitor with Mecole Hardman, if you may recall, we mentioned the trade that happened that sent him to Kansas City and what ultimately led to him being a part of the third Super Bowl title. He stirred up a bit of controversy this past offseason when he was telling the story that he initially said that he told Brett Veach and Patrick Mahomes, come get me. And once it was put out there that could be considered tampering on Hardman's part and lead to a potential suspension or fine, he backtracked a bit on that, and he has since kind of downplayed it, if you will. We haven't heard anything of any penalty or any suspension forthcoming for the comments made by Mecole Hardman on that front, so I would think that it's a bit of a non-issue. I would have expected that the Chiefs would not have brought Mecole Hardman back if that would have been an issue of sorts. The production as a wide receiver has not been what it once was for Mecole Hardman the last 2 seasons. I don't think there's any secret about that. With last season having a career low in catches, 15 receptions, 124 yards. The year prior to that, 25 catches, just under 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. But you can see if the Chiefs somehow got what they got out of him in 2021 and 2020, I think they would be thrilled at this point for Mecole Hardman potentially being your number 4 or 5 receiver for his role in this Chiefs offense. And with him being a former Pro Bowler as a special teamer several years ago, there is an opportunity for him to still fit in. And think about this, too. We all expect Rashee Rice to face a suspension to begin the 2024 season, right? And you got a group of young receivers in the mix here with this Kansas City Chiefs team, right? With bringing in Xaiver Worthy and some of these other guys here in the mix. There's an opportunity for Mecole Hardman to kind of be the veteran presence, if you will, to be the example of, hey, this is how we do things in Kansas City, be the role model, if you will, to teach the Kansas City Chiefs offense to his fellow receivers and, see how things are done. I mean, when he left and came back, it was as if he had never left, right? Back like I never left, right? That's what it felt like with Mecole Hardman. So for me, it's a natural fit. And at the end of the day, too, he's not here if Patrick Mahomes doesn't want him here. It kind of reminds me, folks will remember this several years ago. Remember the name Garrett Dieter? Dieter was around. He wasn't that good. Most people knew that. But the only reason why he even was around for as long as he was because he was Patrick Mahomes' best friend, right? Well, I know that these two have had their ups and downs, and there's been points where we saw over the years where Patrick Mahomes was frustrated with Mecole Hardman, like, why'd you run the wrong route, and you got in his face a little bit. We saw that of several times over the years, but at the end of the day, there was more good than bad, and these two have a great relationship now. They've been through some adversity together. Mecole Hardman is here because Patrick Mahomes wants him here, that they have that relationship with each other, and at the end of the day, this makes sense. And think about this, okay? You guys saw the play in the Super Bowl. We all remember what happened there. Mecole Hardman can be a sneaky good red zone threat for this Chiefs offense, which, and the key term is sneaky good here. You think a guy like his size and everything, you're not thinking about Mecole Hardman, right? Like, we think red zone threat, we think big receivers, the Travis Kelce likes of the world, right? But he's proven that he can do that. He can add that element to the offense. So, for me, it makes a ton of sense. Grade the signing of Mecole Hardman, A, B, C, D, or F. What do you guys think? Well, in the comments section, give me a grade. I'll give you my grade here in just a moment. Without knowing the terms necessarily just yet. We know it's a one-year deal. Don't expect it to be a ton of money. I'll go A- at the moment. And I like it for a whole lot of reasons. For a cheap deal, more than likely, for potentially being your number 4 or 5 receiver. Doesn't hurt you for him to slide in that role. And then potentially what he can do in special teams. Good move for Brett Veach and company. I'd expect nothing less. That's why the Chiefs have the best GM in football. Brett Veach knows what the hell he's doing. Subscribe now to the Chiefs Report for continuing Kansas City Chiefs coverage all offseason long. Any additional moves we're going to talk about here on the channel. The Chiefs have plenty of salary cap space to spend. I don't think they're done just yet on potential signings they can make over the next few weeks. Stay tuned for that. Lock us in. Subscribe now to the Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us, and we shall see you next time. Subscribe now for free. We'll see you then.